Hey guys, welcome back. And in this video, we're going to see how we're going to read the value from the database. So in the last video, we performed an insertion operation into the database, and we inserted the form values, user ID and password, respectively, into the database. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just comment these two statements here. Comment this SQL, and then change this SQL to read with the data, which is nothing but select star from login table. That's it. Okay, so this is going to retrieve everything, right? Star is retrieve everything from the table. Okay, so now what we're going to do now is when we are reading, we're going to use execute reader, execute query, okay. So now what happens is usually when you're retrieving the record, right, so it will return you the result set. So you need to have that initialized. So that's what I'm going to do here is result set rs. So initialize equal to null. Of course, I import that as well, and I assign rs equal to statement of execute query, and I'm passing this SQL here, right? So what next now? So now we're going to read it, right? So we need to make sure that we read finish everything, right? So rs.next, so which means we're going to read until the record has completely read, right? So let me just do the indentation. Okay, so while rs.next, so now I can print here itself, or I can assign it to a variable and then I can print. So now since I know that there's only one record in the database, so I can just print it here, right? So let's say if at all you have multiple records, then how would you do, right? I mean, if you want multiple records, you definitely have to print here. So as in when you print, it will get printed. But if you assign to the variable here, and if you print outside, then you will only print the last one. So what I'll do now is I'll take it out and I'll try to print it here itself. Okay, so what I'm going to say is user ID is, sorry for that, okay, user ID is plus rs dot get string, and what is the column name? User ID, right? So that's what you get it here. And now what I can do is I can of course have I can either print it in the same line, user ID and password, or I can print it in two different lines. But let me try printing it in a single line here. Okay, so what we do now is we're going to say plus, okay, plus, and we're going to say here password is password is plus rs dot get string, and in this case it's going to be password. That's a column name, right? We are good here actually. So this should execute. All right. So let's just delete the unwanted spaces and everything, and then try to run it. So let's compile this and then let's clear and build. Should be good. Okay, and then let's run. So before running, I just want to comment this here, please, because what's happening is I don't want to print stuff here, the earlier stuff which we have already printed on the page, so that you know that if at all whatever is printed, it's the one which is coming from the database. Okay, so now let's run it. Let's pass user ID and password. It's not really necessary because we're not going doing any insertion operation here. So, but I'm just going to pass some value to this so that it won't break my code. And you can see here, user ID is asked to me and password is 99909, which is coming from the database. So that is what has happened here, right? User ID is we took from the method getString, and by passing the column name from the database, right? User ID, password. If there are 10 columns, then you can definitely either use the indexing option, or you can pick the exact column name and you can get retrieve data and then you can print it. So that's as simple as that. So while inserting, we used execute update. While retrieving data, we made use of execute query. But we made sure that we also declare a result set object so that it can contain the data which has been retrieved after execute this query. So and then we're gonna check, right, by doing the next operation into the record set to fetch the user ID and the password details. So let's do one thing here. Let me try to insert another record and then see how it prints. So here, let's do execute update. Execute update. Right. So I have to comment this piece of code here. All right. So I'm not going to print anything here. I'm just going to insert another value from the form. Right. So let's go and run this. Okay, so next one is QWERTY and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully it has inserted. So let me just go to the database and quickly check whether it has already inserted or not. Login table, view data. And yes, it has records now. Perfect. So now when we print, the only thing which I want to do is here is I comment the insert statement, enable MySQL, and I also enable this statement here and then comment my insert, and so uncomment my data retrieval piece of code. So here one thing I would like to do is I just want to print a break statement so that it looks better. That's it. No other changes here. So it should print two records now, one below the other, and let's check it out whether it can do that or it's going to throw any error. Right, so now again I'm going to pass something dummy, doesn't matter. Perfect. User ID is asked to me, password is this, user ID is query, password is this. We would have also done wherein immediately after entering the user ID and password, click login, it would have inserted and then retrieved as well. So I leave it to you to do that as a homework. Let me know in the comments if at all you face any issue with that. And I'll see you in the next video.